It's Thursday, March 9th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with the latest local news, including a fatal accident at an I-95 rest stop this morning. Frank Granito will let us know how much snow is on the way in his forecast and later has a Nutmeg Sports update. It is Front Page Thursday, so John Kovach will join me later to preview our front pages this week. And of course, Donald Ang will join us to take a look back on this day in history. But first, a Bridgeport man was killed early this morning after crashing his car into a tractor-trailer truck that was in a non-parking zone at an I-95 rest area in Fairfield. The Connecticut Post reports that the person killed in that accident was identified as 23-year-old Lucky Kiofanga of Jackson Street in Bridgeport. The accident happened in the southbound service area after Kiofanga's 2003 Mini Cooper struck the rear of a parked tractor-trailer. State police say it hit the right rear trailer portion of the 2016 Peterbilt truck that was parked straddling the fire and travel lanes. The accident summary by Trooper Stephen Corona said the truck was parked in a clearly marked fire lane, no parking zone, off to the left side of the highway at the entrance to that rest area. The truck driver, identified as 47-year-old Gabriel Thompson of Philadelphia, had no apparent injury. That accident remains under investigation. And Trumbull police are investigating a rash of car thefts over the past few days. 3 cars were reported stolen in town between March 1st and March 5th. In all 3 cases, residents had left their vehicles unlocked with the keys inside. The cars were stolen from Inca Drive, Killian Avenue, and Main Street. One vehicle was involved in a pursuit with Capitol Police in Hartford and was later recovered in Southington. Another was left running outside an area business on Main Street when it was taken, and it was later recovered by the owner, who followed it and found it abandoned in Bridgeport on Reservoir Avenue. The third was recovered the same day after running out of gas in town. In addition to the vehicle thefts, police are investigating several thefts from vehicles that occurred during the same time period in various neighborhoods around town. All of those vehicles were also left unlocked. One home was entered when the thieves used a garage door opener from an unlocked car to gain entry to the home while the residents slept. Anyone with information is asked to contact Trumbull Police at 203-261-3665. And a Stratford woman accused of using fake identities to defraud United Illuminating out of more than $4,800 in services is facing charges following her recent arrest. 43-year-old Kimberly Lawton was arrested February 27th and charged with third-degree larceny, identity theft, and criminal impersonation. Police said Lawton allegedly used fake identities and social security numbers to obtain services from the utility company and then did not pay the fees and services. An investigation into Lawton began last October. According to state court records, Lawton is scheduled to return to court on March 28th. And the Internal Revenue Service, state tax agencies, and the tax industry issued an urgent alert to all employers that W-2 form email phishing scam has evolved beyond the corporate world and is now spreading to other sectors, including school districts, tribal organizations, and nonprofits. It's a scam that attempts to trick human resource departments to provide workers W-2 forms and confidential tax information. The first heads up on that email phishing scam came in late January, and now officials say there has been an increase in the number of attempts to steal workers' tax information. Cyber criminals use various spoofing techniques to disguise an email to make it appear as if it's from an organization executive. The email is then sent to an employee in the payroll or human resources department requesting a list of all employees and their W-2 forms. 2 Connecticut school districts in Glastonbury and in Groton were targeted. Officials say a phishing scam last week compromised tax information for 1,300 employees with the Groton Public School System. And in happier news, a Fairfield man says he's paying off all his debt thanks to a winning lotto ticket. Southport resident Christopher Gerasinopoulos was stunned to reveal his $300,000 prize on a $3 million Royale instant ticket. He bought the ticket at Derby Mart in Derby. The Royale winner held tight onto his winning ticket before traveling to the Connecticut Lottery headquarters in Rocky Hill. He said he had the ticket on him at all times. He even slept with it, and since he has animals, was nervous that the dog might eat it. He told lottery officials that all his debt is gone, including student loans and car loans. He plans to take care of his family and facilitate his career in health and wellness, but first plans to take a vacation. And in other news, First Selectman Rob Malazzi and Selectman Nick Williams feel that they are the right leaders from New Canaan, and they've made significant achievements in their 5.5 years in office, and they're ready for the challenges that now face the town. They are both running for a fourth two-year term in November 2017 municipal election. The two Republicans announced that to the media on March 7th. The third member of the Board of Selectmen, Democrat Beth Jones, is not running for re-election. Democrat Kit Devereaux, a former town councilman and Board of Finance member, announced that she's running for First Selectman. And resident Michael Nowacki is planning to gather signatures of registered voters and again become a candidate for First Selectman as well. But there's much more on that story at ncadvertiser.com. Let's switch gears, throw it over to Frank Granito for a look at the forecast. Frank, it's gorgeous out there, but we know it's not going to last.
Don't get too comfortable with that, but you're right. Mostly sunny, very windy out today. Temperatures in the mid-50s. Wind gusts between 30 to 35 miles per hour. But we're going to see increasing cloud cover now starting later on this evening as it will get colder in preparation of overnight snow. That snowfall is expected to start around midnight and will carry through until about noon on Friday. We're looking at 2 to 4 inches of snow accumulating around noon, causing for slick road conditions and potentially freezing conditions later on tomorrow, with temperatures dropping down into the single digits before a very cold and windy night and weekend around the county. Plenty of sunshine on Saturday, but we're looking at one of the colder days now with that we have seen lately, Kate, with temperatures in the high teens, very windy again, cold overnight, temperatures into the single digits, and it'll be brisk and chilly again on Sunday with those temperatures right around 12, 15 degrees. So enjoy it while you can today, but it's going to be a rough weekend, and we could see some more snow even on Tuesday to start out next week.
All right, so we'll try to enjoy it today. Well, we are going to step out for a break. When we come back, Donald Lang takes a look back on this day in history. Frank has your Nutmeg Sports Update, and we have more local news coming up after this.
We told Dad he could have his office back if he sold 150 cars last month.
Deal's a deal.
Well, Dad, you did it. You get your office back.
Forget it. I'm having too much fun down here. My new goal, 160 cars.
Wow.
Folks, if you ever wanted a great price on a new Nissan, now is the time.
Right now, lease a 2017 Altima 2.5S for only $99 a month.
Isn't it time you got Millerized?
UK Gourmet is the largest specialty grocer in the area, featuring food from England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Make your St. Patrick's Day truly authentic with a wee bit of real Irish food, proper Irish-style rashers, sausage, and soda bread right from Ireland. Put down the corned beef and grab a boiling bacon to have what they really eat in the Emerald Isle. So say hooray for UK Gourmet, 78 Stony Hill Road in Bethel, or visit ukgourmet.us.
Whether you're looking for the freshest seafood, the perfect steak, or want to share delicious appetizers, look no further than the Stone's Throw in Seymour. Chef Peter Hom has more than 30 years of experience creating original recipes in his American eclectic style. Our dishes are made from scratch with fresh, local ingredients that pair perfectly with a seasonal craft beer, a signature cocktail, or your favorite wine. When you visit our Riverside location, you'll feel like you're on vacation when you're only a stone's throw from home. Visit us on Roosevelt Drive in Seymour or at stonesthrowct.com. At the Milford Bank, we offer an extensive selection of lending products and services to meet virtually any need. Submit your application online in our Mortgage Web Center. Start to finish, you can apply for a loan in as little as 10 minutes. Our knowledgeable and helpful staff are available to meet with you at your convenience. To learn more about what we can do for you, stop by one of our Milford Bank offices or visit us at milfordbank.com. The Milford Bank, always there. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. If If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier network, and we've also reached more than 2 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back to this March 9th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network, and it's time to take a look back on this day in history with Donald Eng. Don.
Well, Kate, it was on this day that we saw the last casualty of the war. But first we go to 1831, the French Foreign Legion, founded by King Louis Philippe to support his war in Algeria. The Legion was formed to allow non-French citizens to serve in the French military. It has a reputation for being among the most elite units in the world, also for providing a place for folks to leave their former lives behind. The Legion currently consists of 7,700 soldiers from 140 different countries. Units of the French Foreign Legion are deployed in Lebanon, Central Africa, Afghanistan, and in the global war on terror. 1841, the U.S. Supreme Court rules in the United States versus Amistad case that captive Africans who had seized control of the ship carrying them to slavery had been enslaved illegally. The men who had been enslaved in Sierra Leone were being transported to their purchasers' plantations when they rebelled. 35 men were eventually returned home. Amistad, ironically, it means friendship in Spanish. It was a Spanish ship. To 1862. The USS Monitor and CSS Virginia fight to a draw in the Battle of Hampton Roads, the first battle between armored warships. Though the fight was inconclusive, the Monitor did prevent Virginia from breaking the Union blockade. Neither ship survived the year, though, despite being almost indestructible on this day. Virginia was scuttled to prevent her capture. Monitor sank in a storm. That low-profile hull that made her a difficult target also provided virtually no protection from waves. Finally, now we go to 1997, 20 years ago today for this.
Hi, I'm Abby Kearse. I'm here in downtown Brooklyn, a place where normally on a Sunday afternoon people are shopping, and this is a somber moment and a sad day in hip-hop. We talked to the fans to find out what they think about this tragic day.
When I first heard Biggie Smalls die this morning, my first reaction was ultimate shock. I was in total disbelief that he was dead. He was one of my favorite rap artists. And I can't believe it. I'm totally astounded that he's gone from our community. Another black brother is gone.
It's a shame. You're killing your own people. You know, it don't make sense. That was somebody's son. That was somebody's father. You know what I'm saying? When we gonna stop?
I think Biggie's a person who really had truly deep fans, who felt his worldview spoke to them and articulated things they could not articulate themselves. It gives a profound sense of loss, and it's like losing a friend.
It was 1997 rapper Christopher Wallace, a.k.a. Biggie Smalls, or the notorious B.I.G., shot and killed in a drive-by shooting in Los Angeles, the culmination of the East Coast versus West Coast hip-hop war that had also claimed the life of rapper Tupac Shakur the year before. Both murders remain unsolved. That is your look back in history for today, March 9th, and I'm Donald Eng.
All right, thanks so much, Don. Well, in other local news, in Ridgefield, officials say don't take styrofoam to the recycling center on South Street. It will be rejected. That's the reality under the town's new Wrap Recycling Action Program that does not accept any kind of styrofoam. Now, the new program was enacted 3 weeks ago at the center and is in charge of plastic bag and overwrap collection. The state of Connecticut has set a deadline, 2024, when all of the town's garbage must be at least 60% recyclable and styrofoam is not. Recycling center employees said that in recent weeks this has been a problem for residents who don't know where to dispose of their styrofoam, which could be in the form of packaging peanuts or even takeout containers. More on that story at theridgefieldpress.com. Let's throw it back over to Frank for a Nutmeg Sports Update. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. We were live last night at Trumbull for the second round of the CIAC Double-L basketball tournament as the Eagles played host to the Jesuits of Fairfield Prep. Prep came in ranked number 22 in the tournament but played well beyond their 10-10 record as they were strong at both ends of the court, knocking off number 6 Trumbull by a final of 76-69. Patrick Harding and John Kelly both finished with 22 points, and Brian Noon added some clutch free throws down the stretch as Prep held off a late rally from the Eagles. 4 Trumbull players scored in double digits, and the offense was fueled by highlight plays, but ultimately the Eagles had no answer for the Jesuit size inside. Let's take a look at the highlights from last night's Prep win.
Entering this tournament.
As here's Kelly for 3.
Oh, what a start for the Jesuits. My man, John Kelly from downtown.
Lynch open in the corner, 3 on the way, and it's good.
There he is. You saw him clap his hands. He wanted the rock.
And speaking with Coach Bright before the game, is a 3-pointer knocked down here, first points of the night, or no one. And 10 seconds on the clock. Harding back for Kelly. He steps into a deep 3 off the glass.
The bank is open.
Full to answer.
Oh! Hold your horses there, Frank.
Count it! Woo! What a basket!
I'll trade you a 3 for a 3.
We're going to go across the way. Chris
looked great at times when they moved the ball around with each other, but they need to keep doing that.
Kelly for 3. Then a timeout taken. That the Jesuits can play for the last shot, but it's taken away. Brown out in transition to the rack.
Oh!
Back the opposite end. 3-pointer off the mark as Chris Brown brings this place to their feet. Down low for Fallen. He was rejected by Vlandis. Moon up ahead, trying to get to the rack, and he draws the foul.
Wow. This is high school basketball at its best, Frank.
Thought they would call the offensive foul for the hook. Kelly steps into a 3 at the top of the yard.
That's a big 3.
Passes up as Chris Brown's 3-pointer at the buzzer will not go. And the Jesuits fight on. They take down number 6 Trumbull 76-69. So congratulations to Fairfield Prep, who moves on to the quarterfinals now, where they will face number 3 East Catholic. That game is tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. In other boys basketball scores, Darien falling 59-43 against East Hartford. NFA took down Fairfield Ward 66-33, courtesy of a half-court shot at the end of regulation. Story of the night had to be the 17th seeded Danbury Hatters, though, taking down number 1 Notre Dame of West Thames 70-64 as they advance on to the quarterfinals. Congrats to the Hatters. St. Joe's fell in Class M's tournament against Tolland. And in boys hockey, New Canaan and Ridgefield survived FCAC opponents in the opening round. They have moved on to Saturday's quarterfinals. New Canaan takes on number 12 Glastonbury. Ridgefield draws number 7 Fairfield Prep, who they split their season series with. Now the rubber match to see who will advance to the semifinals. We'll have more on all these games, plus a preview of tonight's action coming up later on Nutmeg Sports. That'll do it for this Nutmeg Sports update. Let's send it back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. Well, in New Canaan, the project of building a 2-level parking structure on the site of the current Locust Avenue parking lot has been removed from the town's capital budget plan for the coming year by the Board of Finance. The board confirmed this at a recent meeting as they struggled to reduce the requested capital projects, avoid adding to the town's bonded debt, and be prepared for unknown financial hits from Hartford, as well as keeping a healthy reserve fund and any tax increase under 3%. The Board of Finance is expected to finalize its budget recommendation March 9th and send it to the Town Council for action. First Selectman and Board of Finance ex officio member Rob Malazzi, who spoke in favor of the project at an early finance budget meeting, told the Advertiser that he expects the tiered structure, which would have added 77 parking spots to the Locust location for a variety of parking issues, will be brought back for consideration in the future. And a week-long effort to continue to raise money for the stadium lights at Darien High School included a spin class at Equinox on Sunday morning. The class made 42 bikes available with a suggested donation of $100 and was completely full. No spin experience or an Equinox membership was required, and riders of all sorts turned up. The class is one of a number of events put on by the Darien Lights Brigade, a nonprofit group organized to raise money to pay for those field lights. The event was organized by the Lights Brigade chairperson Susan Graham and Carla Griffin and was attended by several DAF and DLB members and families. Now, there's a lot of other events coming up to support that cause, and you can get more information on that at DarienTimes.com. Well, we are going to step out for a break, and when we come back, John Kovach joins me, and we're going to preview our front pages this week after this.
On time, done right, safe and reliable. MrHandymanCT.com.
Let our satisfied customers tell it.
I have called Mr. Handyman for every reason, every occasion, every broken item, every leak. They have bailed me out on many occasions, and I would recommend them to anyone.
For any project, large or small.
MrHandymanCT.com.
Want a new experience in car buying? Skep Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram with one of the largest inventories of new 2- and 4-door Wranglers. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Browse our websites, skepchryslerjeep.com or skepdodge.net to find the new Jeep, Chrysler Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck you've been looking for. Just 2 miles from both I-95 or the Merritt Parkway exit 44. Save thousands right now during the spring clearance event and Ram Truck Month, now through March 31st.
Have a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Basketball, hockey, skiing, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Well, there's still a bite out on the water. Most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
At InSports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Recently renovated and home to one of Connecticut's largest indoor turf fields, InSports is a multi-sport recreation center providing state-of-the-art facilities for league play, camps, and youth programs. Sign your child up now for InSports Future Stars Basketball Academy, teaching skills on the basketball court for boys and girls ages 5 through 9. Visit InSportsCenters.com for more information on this 7-week program. And for adults, spots are also still available for our men's 30 and over and 40 and over leagues. Like and follow us on Facebook.
I'm Frank Granito.
And I'm Donald Ng for the HAN Network.
Tune in to Nutmeg Sports Monday through Thursday, where we bring you all the top stories from Connecticut sports.
From highlights to player interviews and expert analysis, no one gets you closer to Connecticut's games than Nutmeg Sports.
Nutmeg Sports, now Monday through Thursday at 2 p.m. on the HAN Network.
Welcome back to your coffee break. This Thursday edition, it's Front Page Thursday, so I'm joined by our editorial director, John Kovach, to preview our papers out today. John, happy to have you.
Glad to be here.
What are you looking at first?
I am looking at Weston, where they were among the towns that was hit by strong winds earlier this week, and I'm not real happy about Frank's forecast, but that's neither here nor there. Budget time, the grand list growing by 0.6%. And very cool story here, and that is a volunteer who is celebrating a half-century with Weston Fire and EMS. And one of my favorite times of the year, maple syrup.
Yeah, nice.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, well, taking a look at the Trumbull Times, one story we talked about on Coffee Break this week, an Uber driver charged with theft and fraud. This driver was wearing an ankle bracelet at the time, was on probation. What is the vetting process for drivers in that case?
Apparently it doesn't involve checking ankles. I fail to see.
All right, Uber, get it together. My goodness. All right, congratulations to Trumbull High's indoor percussion ensemble. They placed second out of 24 groups at a World Guard International Regional Competition. Congrats. A cool story, a detective cited for undercover work that led to a dozen arrests. That's Detective Edgar Perez. He received a commendation from the U.S. Justice Department. Trumbull men to be honored at an April 8th gala, talking about breaking the cycle of violence, and Senator Marilyn Moore seeking budget feedback.
We talked about the winds in Weston, and they're having a real effect on a Stratford family. Chris Schofield was in the vehicle that was struck by a falling tree on the Merritt Parkway, Wilbur Cross Parkway during the windstorm last week, and a GoFundMe has been started to help cover his medical cost. The Board of Education, with a budget proposal in Stratford that exceeds $110 million, and a dispute between preservationists, neighbors, the town, and a developer over what will be the future of Tavern Rock. Kind of an interesting site, and I want to learn more about the history of that.
Yeah. All right. Well, taking a look at the front page of the Shelton Herald. Shelton celebrating Read Across America Day. You have a police officer reading to children, as well as Mayor Mark Loretti. Now, the city is also dreading, like many other towns and cities, potential state cuts. So more on the details of that. And a man arrested for denying his role in a fatal heroin overdose. And 2 men charged with stealing a gun and accused of home burglaries. And as we talked about yesterday, Shelter Ridge approved by Planning and Zoning Commission. That's a large-scale development down the road from us here in Shelton.
Wilton, another town that's finding it very difficult to cut the budget, which is currently in review. Neighbors are trying to amend zoning rules as they apply to age-restricted housing in Wilton. Music from the Heart is going to return on Saturday. That's at the Little Theater at Wilton High School. And an interesting story that we're going to spread around to all of our HIN network markets, and it's Connecticut student loans. And our students are taking on the most debt in the United States to pay for their higher education.
All right, well, taking a look at the front page of the Ridgefield Press, some neighbors unhappy about the town's rules about livestock and manure. I guess that's causing an issue there. You get in those more rural parts of Ridgefield, which are just beautiful. Also, Reading with Bailey. Ridgefield celebrated Read Across America Day with this adorable therapy dog from the Roar Shelter. He's so cute. I want to read with him. Also, No Reason to Share. Police reject idea for a multi-purpose station. This is always interesting when these agencies, when we say, hey, let's regionalize, and these agencies, fire, EMS, police, they want to hold on to,
you want your own place.
You want your own place. And of course, Titletown, as you've heard about here and seen on the HAN network. So congratulations to Ridgefield boys hockey and basketball team.
An interesting debate is being sparked kind of in the Easton, Reading area, and I'm looking at the Reading pilot right now, where State Rep Adam Dunsby, who is Easton's first selectman, has proposed charging for what he calls excessive or vexatious freedom of information filings, which we all know that there are people out there who do file a lot of these, maybe or maybe not, to just kind of turn things over in government, kind of see what they can do with the process. Not sure how I feel about that, but he explains it in a story in the Reading pilot. A Norwalk man has been accused of sexually assaulting a minor in Reading. The town and the schools there are making final budget preparations. A new farmer at New Pond Farm, and a woman who produces fine arts quilts.
Very cool. All right, well, taking a look at the New Canaan Advertiser, police reporting an increase in motor vehicle law enforcement, as well as violations, and you can compare that to other things like medical assists and false alarms, as well as location checks. And Democrat Devereaux running for first selectman. We just talked about that a bit earlier on the show. And Malazzi and Williams seeking re-election as first selectman and selectman there, talking about their achievements and challenges. And a little playing of paddle tennis Saturday at Waveney Park, despite the cold.
In Monroe, they're getting ready for Monroe Reads Together, and we have a conversation with author Liz Moore of The Unseen World. A discussion of Mount Everest coming to Monroe, a discussion of LGBTQ issues at Two Planks Theater, and the budget proceeding through there, and there are some hot button items that could be a bigger deal as the budget process makes its way through Monroe.
Yes, lots of budget process stories. Even on the front page of the Milford Mirror, Balancing Act state cuts loom as the city prepares a spending plan. Still on track to keep taxes status quo or lower, however. Mayor Ben Blake saying that the state budget rewards failure. Now, this is a great story. A resident honored for pulling a child from an icy pond after they fell through the ice. Mayor Ben Blake gave a proclamation to John O'Rourke, who pulled that child from Mondo Pond after the child fell through the ice. And State Senator Gail Schlossberg seeking more information on some project plans for Silver Sands State Park.
Darien had a profile of, not really a profile, but Representative Jim Himes held a forum with reporters, talked about the new health plan, which he said benefits those who don't need help. The grand list in Darien is up slightly, and an insert in the Darien Times this week is the 2017-18 budget in advance of the Board of Finance hearing, which will be Tuesday. State Rep Terry Wood talks about education in the state budget. We see some changes in zoning to fit a proposed development. And the Darien Blue Wave girls hockey team wins its second straight state title.
All right, taking a look at the Easton Courier, a story you mentioned earlier, also in the Reading Pilot, and that's Adam Dunsby proposing bill to stop frivolous FOI complaints. A lot more on that. A really interesting story here by Susan Hunter, and this is on Lee and Eunice Hansen. Now, their granddaughter Christine and her parents Peter and Sue lost their lives on September 11th, 2001. They were passengers on United Airlines Flight 175, and they talk about their experience, talk about how they want to hold terrorists accountable for their loved one's death. So more on that story in the Easton Courier.
The Home Monthly appears this week. Wallpaper is making a comeback. But the story I'm going to go straight to and highlight and circle things and underline is how to create an at-home coffee bar.
Oh, I like it.
All we need is a little maple dispenser and I'd be good to go.
All right, taking a look at arts and leisure, Gigi Preby, I always forget how to say her last name. She was a guest actually on HAN Arts and Leisure. She's written a wonderful children's book, Queen Mary's Dollhouse, inspired her. She's a New Canaan author. Her book is called Henry Whiskers. Really interesting, so definitely check it out. She's also the founder of the Discovery Museum. So very cool there. And The Conscious Cook is talking about recipes in praise of spring. So exciting there. Now, John, coming up at 1 o'clock, we have Yankee Fisherman.
We're getting ready for spring, too. We are going to talk about early season flies, and we're going to demonstrate tying one. We have a number of topics that have come up from the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection, who has begun stocking some of the waters that are still open for fishing before opening day on April 8th. We're going to talk proper catch and release, just a whole bunch of stuff going on. It's actually still falling in place because every time this morning I've thought I've had the show done, something new has come on to be added to it. So it'll be a fun one.
All right, so that coming up at 1 o'clock, Yankee Fisherman, 2 o'clock, Nutmeg Sports, and we'll see you for your coffee break tomorrow at 11. Enjoy this beautiful weather while it's here.